Hi everyone, my name is Mick Marcon, resident teacher here at Losang, Dragpa, Kadampa Buddhist Centre. Today I'd like to teach you how it's possible to like someone that you presently dislike. I'm going to be using the example of Bad Bob. Here's Bad Bob. So Bad Bob represents all the people that we dislike, that difficult person at work, that hopeless driver that nearly runs us off the road. Anyone that we find difficult or unpleasant, that's Bad Bob for us. So we can see when we perceive someone as being difficult or unpleasant, we see them as being full of negativities. If you look closely, we'll see a Bad Bob's full of hate. He's got a lot of self-centeredness, the me mind. He's also got big ego and he has uncontrolled desire. So the question is, how is it possible to like someone that appears to us at present like that, like full of faults? So the answer to this is quite profound. It can be found in the book called The New 8 Steps to Happiness, which is written by Venerable Geshe Kelsang Gyatso. And you can download this as an ebook from tarpa.com/au. That's tarpa.com/au. Now in here, Venerable Geshe, the author, he says, how can we regard as precious someone whose mind is pervaded by attachment, anger, and ignorance? The answer to this objection is quite profound. Although sentient beings' minds are filled with delusions, sentient beings themselves are not faulty. We say that seawater is salty. However, the real nature of water is not salty because salt can be removed from it. Similarly, all the faults we see in people are actually the faults of their delusions, not of the people themselves. Buddhists see that delusions have many faults, but they never see people as faulty because they distinguish between people and their delusions. So this is the key point. Enlightened beings distinguish between people and their delusions. We ordinary beings do not. We identify people with their delusions, so therefore we see them as being intrinsically faulty. So if someone is angry, we think he is a bad and angry person, whereas Buddhists think he is a suffering being afflicted with the inner disease of anger. If a friend of ours were suffering from cancer, we would not blame him for his physical disease. And in the same way, if someone is suffering from anger or attachment, we should not blame him for the diseases of his mind. So this is priceless advice from Buddha via Venerable Geshe, because it enables us to view people in a different way by changing the way we perceive them or discriminate them. So by distinguishing between a person and their delusions, what we can do is establish the basis within our mind to maintain a good feeling about them, to like them, to appreciate them, and to respect them. So if we use Bob as an example for this teaching on discriminating between people and their delusions, we can see that at present, we can't see Bob separate from his delusions. We just see him as an intrinsically bad person. But if we use a little bit of wisdom discrimination, what we do is we separate Bob from his delusions, just like separating salt from water. And what happens is this. Once we discriminate between or distinguish between the person and the delusions, we just see the person. We strip away the delusions just like that. So that there, all that there is not Bob. That's Bob. Bob is affected by that, and his behavior is affected by that. But that's not him. That's Bob. It's easy to like Bob, but it's impossible to like Bob if we identify Bob with his delusions. Furthermore, if we look a little bit more closely, inside Bob's heart, just behind this little flap there, there's something behind there. And what that is his indestructible potential for inner peace and good qualities such as love, compassion, and wisdom. So if we look a bit more closely and just look behind his heart or inside his heart, we'll see that what's in there is his potential to become an enlightened being. So very easy to like a person like that. So we can do that by, first of all, discriminating between the person and the delusions, and then further to that, focus in on their potential, their spiritual potential for all good qualities, eventually to become an enlightened being, just like Buddha Shakyamuni. So I hope you found this brief teaching very helpful to help dispel negativity that you may have towards other people by taking these two steps: distinguish between the person and delusions, and then focus in on their spiritual potential for good qualities. If you'd like to hear more teachings on similar subjects, you can tune into our live streaming classes that run throughout the week, and you can do so by clicking on to meditateinnewcastle.org. That's meditateinnewcastle.org, and follow the instructions on the website. Okay, thank you very much.